Howdy ho, welcome back to the Story of Seasons A Wonderful Life remake series. If you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and do that for me. Thank you to everyone else who has recently, and please share my videos with people that you think would really enjoy them. Today we're going to talk about the fieldwork updates from the Bokumano website. So yeah, this is the Japanese website. As we've discussed before, I have used Google Translate, so it's in English. And this was taken quite a while back. Like this, obviously, when the fieldwork basics and dairy farming basics were new and everything else, you couldn't really click on it. So, and this is what it looks like now. You can actually access all of these categories. Fieldwork basics, grow delicious crops, dairy farming basics, raise animal babies, aim for the rich, let's cook, let's live with pets, use various tools, discover nature's bounty, check the bulletin board, enjoy the festival, leave a memory. And then the last ones are let's improve our agricultural facilities, new species discovered through breed improvement, let's enhance dairy farm equipment, enjoy fashion, let's refresh. Those are all new. So today, though, we are going to talk specifically about fieldwork and the different tools that you can use and the machines and the improvements they've made since the first game. Fieldwork basics. Ranch life starts with fieldwork. If you take care of them every day, they will produce nutritious crops. Step 1. Ground leveling. Only soft soil can grow crops. Start by plowing the soil with a hoe. In order to plow evenly, it is important to plow continuously. So I know the focus of this picture is the plowed fields, but I can't help but notice the stumps in the background. I would say that maybe she chopped them, which would be a sort of a newer thing in A Wonderful Life. But considering it's the first of spring at 7:54 a.m., I'm gonna say it's just for like immersive scenery. Makes it look like she lives there, she's worked there, I don't know. And then there's like the logs in the background over there stacked up, so that's kind of a nice touch. But anyway, it looks like when using the hoe, it takes more than one run through. The squares on the bottom look like they're a little bit more ready to go. And then the top, it still has some like grass and stuff, so but at the same time, there are squares in the top part, so it looks like they've already ran through it one time. It's hard to tell. We'll see. I also like seeing what I assume to be a stamina bar in the top left corner. Step 2. Seeding. Sow the seeds in the tilled soil. If you save your power, you can sow the seeds together. The season and soil in which the seeds grow is fixed, so be careful. So in this picture, obviously, she is sowing what looks like tomato seeds, and she also has an apple seedling in her bag and some fertilizer. But the cool thing that they've added to this game is that you can do up to, 3x3 together instead of just the one and then the one, because that was like the most difficult part of the old game, was taking care of your crops, because you just do one at a time. And like, I don't even remember if you could ever power up like your watering can or anything like that. You could just get better tools, so it was using less stamina, but I don't remember it ever being an option for you to like do multiple things at one time. Step 3. Watering. Water your crops generously with a watering can every day. Look at the color of the soil in the field, and when it's dry, it's a signal to water. Of course, you don't need a rainy day. So I think that means, of course, you don't need to on a rainy day. So this picture gives us a cool look at some of the new mechanics in the game. It looks like you can lay down what looks like some stone steps or whatever. You can kind of add a little flair to your gardening areas, I guess. But more importantly, it can block off the areas you can plant fruit trees because they need more space to grow. So you have to block off that 3x3, which is what's done in this picture. Step 4. Harvest. Harvest when it bears fruit. Root vegetables such as turnips and concho are ready to eat when the flowers bloom on the ground. If you use a sickle with good performance, you can harvest them all at once. I'm gonna guess they're talking about potatoes, but I really don't know. I tried to Google it and I couldn't really produce any good results, so we're just gonna move on. But they did mention that if you have a good sickle, you can harvest items all at once. So that goes into the tools, and we'll talk about that later, but it sounds like you can upgrade your tool power. Step 5. After harvest. Crops can be sold for cash. You can eat it as it is, cook it, or give it to someone as a gift. If you give it to someone who is familiar with agriculture, they might give you their impression of the taste. Ooh. So anyone who played the first game will remember the giant towering structure that was just this gray stone, almost like castle-like building. And in that building, there was a shipping bin, and they had also like 2 different shipping bins, I think. One for crops and then another one for like animal produce. And then you had your, the area where you could order items, and there was also a refrigerator in the back. And Tag would come in and take your order, and he'd go into the city, or he'd take your stuff to ship, and he'd take those boxes or baskets. Not sure how he would carry all of them because it was just one dude. Also, he never was carrying anything. Just gonna throw that out there. He would come back the next day with your money or your order or whatever. So I'm wondering, this looks like a shipping bin, right? Because they're talking about shipping. And I really like the setup. I like it a lot better than the imposing structure that used to be on the farm. But I'm really wondering how the mechanics of the shipping bin will go. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Because it could be the older games, you know, obviously you'd throw it in the shipping bin and it was gone. Like you could not get it back out, and it would be shipped at a certain time, usually like 5 o'clock p.m. And you'd get your money the next day when you wake up. There's different ways in different games, but I'm wondering how it's going to go in this one. I guess we'll have to see. Grow delicious crops. Once you get used to farming, let's turn our attention to the season and the soil. Maybe we can grow better crops? Seasons and crops 1. Crops have their best seasons to grow. It may also wither if you cross the unsuitable season. Let's think about the next crop to grow by looking at the description of seeds and seedlings. Seasons and crops 2. Crop growth depends on the season. A warm pepper month is good, and a cold indigo month is hard. What? What kind of crops do you grow in the changing seasons? I think we all know what they're trying to say. Basically, there's certain crops that grow in certain seasons, and they grow in warm weather, but not cold weather, and vice versa. And you can grow crops in multiple seasons in this game. A lot of the games you can't really transfer over each season. You have to make sure you harvest them all or they're going to wither. But this one, it's a little more realistic. So you can go across like spring, summer, fall, but they might not grow in winter, etc. Soil condition. Some crops only grow in good soil. At first, you can only use barren fields and overgrown fields, but by enriching the ranch, you might be able to expand the amazing fields? Question mark? Yeah, so in the original game, you could only use the kind of, I guess what they're saying, barren fields. You could use the poor quality soil fields, and they were a little bit smaller. And then after the first year, I believe it was, you got access to the larger field that had better soil quality without having to use fertilizer. So maybe that's what they mean here, or maybe might be able to expand. So maybe you have an option to, I'm willing to bet you can do like an expansion service and pay for it. That'd be really cool. All right, bear with me here. Hiryu? Hiryu. It is also possible to raise the quality of crops by using Hiryu. Higher quality crops have darker leaves and stems. If you want to grow good crops, please take extra time. Okay, so the fertilizer is equipped, so maybe that's what that actually means? Let me look it up. Let's improve agricultural facilities. Once you've accumulated funds from farm life, try ordering agricultural facilities. Your ranch life should be even more convenient. Okay, so there's a series of photos attached to this, and the first one, it looks like he's holding a failed dish up to the machine, is putting it into the top hatch, and I'm gonna go ahead and guess that you can get fertilizer from this machine. It's almost like a food processor type thing, like a compost. So I'm wondering what all you can put in there. It's pretty cool if you can actually get some kind of use out of failed dishes, because I always felt like I had no idea what to do with it. I would just give it to my dog, honestly, because, I mean, what else am I supposed to do with it? I have no idea what this is because I can't read the subtitles. Upon further research, a source on YouTube said that the text says if you put fertilizer in this yellow machine that it will automatically fertilize your fields at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. every day. It seems like you would need a lot of fertilizer for that. In the other games, it was like really hard to, first of all, afford fertilizer. But also I think there was a fertilizer machine or whatever. You could create fertilizer for yourself at a certain point. You had to buy all these makers and they were like thousands and thousands of dollars. So I just never got around to buying them because I was always poor. But that's pretty cool, and I'm glad that they brought it to this game. Okay, so for the third photo, this one actually kind of looks like a seed maker, right? So there's your rucksack on the left, and the right side, I'm gonna assume, is where you put your... Yes, okay. So that's a progress bar, I'm gonna bet. And those are the seeds that are coming out of it. And so you can collect the seeds from the processor and put it back in your bag, or you can switch over. Yeah, because you can't even equip the seeds on the left, but you can on the right. So I'm gonna go ahead and say this is the seed maker. And that's pretty cool. I mean, in the other game you had to pretty much order like a whole room for it, so this is cool. I really like how it's looking so far. New species discovered through breed improvement? Question mark? You can improve a variety of crops by befriending Turutan, who appears in Takakura's house from chapter 2. Huh. From slightly unusual crops to rare species that no one knows about. Let's make a lively field with breed improvement. This is so cool. So as you can see, there are some photos attached. So that's his friend, Turutan. There's some dialogue there. I don't know what it says. I'm gonna guess that maybe it starts giving you new ones. You can crossbreed, because that used to be a thing in the other game too. And it almost looks the same as the seed processor machine thingy that we were just talking about. On the left, there's a rucksack with your items. There's 2 spaces and it's this plus this. And so you combine them and you can make some new breed of crop. Oh, okay, so they got a green tomato from that combination is what it looks like. So that's cool. It makes sense that you would do that in the second year, so that way you can grow all the crops available to you potentially in the first year, and then potentially save some from each season and whatnot, and then you can have more crops to do this crossbreeding with. And then the last picture, it even has some really interesting looking stuff that I've never seen on the game before, and maybe it was from the first game. I was really bad at the game, I guess, because I never, I don't think I even bought the seed maker room thing. I just never could figure out how to get a lot of money. But everyone else says it's really easy to make a lot of money in this game. I don't know. But yeah, anyway, really cool feature. Really excited to see where it goes. Well, that's all from me for this time. Thank you for watching, and look out for the next few videos in this series. See you in the next one. Bye!